Okay, this is real life by the sea, so let's get real. I'm a woman of a certain age, right? I'd like to think I'm fit as a fiddle and full of beans. But, I'd like to think I'm not going grey. But I am. I'd like to think that I don't look much over 50. But I do. And I'd like to think that I'm not approaching menopause. But I am. If only I'd known sooner that menopause isn't all about hot flushes and mood swings. It's actually so much more than that. And now I know where I went wrong, and I want to share that with you. So let's go somewhere warm and have a chat. So there's a few things that I wish I'd known about menopause sooner. I realised something was going on when I got to the kitchen, went to the fridge and stood there for about 5 minutes not knowing what I was there for. Then, without any warning at all, I suddenly had a massive burning sensation in my skin. Bit of a hot flush, yes. But then I realised as well I was so angry and I just didn't know why. My husband came in the room, he took one look at me and he said, "Do you need chocolate or do you need space?" I needed chocolate and space, to be quite honest with you. I had no idea why it was happening and I started questioning myself. Is this dementia or am I losing my mind? This is something that 50% of the population is going to have to deal with at some point in their life. And whether you are going through it yourself, whether you think you will go through it, or whether you are male and you have female friends, family, girlfriends or wives in your life who are going to be going through it and you need to support, because I really wish I'd known sooner that menopause is not just about brain fog, mood swings, or feeling like a stranger in your own skin. So if you are a woman who's going through it too, if you're about to go through it, if you're wondering if you're already going through it, then I have something to tell you. But first, let's just get one thing clear. Menopause sucks. There's no other way of saying it, but there are things you can do to stop the suckiness and help make things better. I found this out the hard way and I want to share it with you so that you don't have to. So in no particular order, I'm going to share the woe is me moments that you may or may not be going through, swiftly followed up with my solution to the problem. Remembering that this is a solution that works for me, it may not work for everybody, and I am not a doctor. I am just a woman who's sitting in a camper van at the beach sharing in the hope that something might work for you. So the first thing is obviously perimenopause and menopause can happen way sooner than you think. You might think you need to be about 55, which actually is about my age. But you can actually be a lot younger than that. So symptoms can creep in years before your actual menopause begins, which is really crazy. Something that might happen to you in your 30s or 40s. A couple of things to look out for. You may be losing hair a lot faster than you would normally lose. So for me, I went to the hairdresser to get my hair cut. She was doing my hair and clumps of hair were falling out. And in that moment, I realised when I saw the shocked look on the hairdresser's face, I was going through my early menopause, perimenopause. Obviously, there's mood swings as well when you feel that you don't know why you're angry, you don't know why you're upset, you don't know why you're crying and having a breakdown. All of these things when there's absolutely no explanation. You know that's hormones fueling it and you know that it's something to do with the menopause or perimenopause. Another symptom to look out for is, of course, putting on weight for no apparent reason. You're eating the same as you've always eaten, you're doing the same exercise, but unfortunately, your trousers are getting tighter, even if you just so much as look at a bar of chocolate. I certainly went through that. I'm going through that. And what about skin issues, spots? This is something that you thought you'd said goodbye to in your teenage years, but unfortunately it comes back again. And yes, it is just like being a teenager again without any of the good stuff, like having a teen heartthrob. Mine was Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran. Getting back into it, skin issues. So my skin has got so dry, the elastication has gone. I'm definitely getting more wrinkled, literally in the space of years. I've aged so much and I've got crepe skin. This is when your skin kind of looks like crepe paper. It's pretty horrible, but there's a few things that I found out to actually help the situation. Now it happens because your hormones are a bit messed up. So your skin is aging a lot quicker, you're losing estrogen from lots of cells in your body, and actually it's surprising how many cells in your body need estrogen. So with the downturn of your ovaries producing your sex hormones, it means that your body is going without in a lot of cases. So how do you deal with it and what do you put on your skin instead? So I'm obviously a person of a certain age and I am very into nature and the beach, and I do not like having lots of chemicals either on me or chemicals that I'm going to be putting into nature. So I try to look out for products that are going to really help me, and as much as possible to have something which is made of natural products. Plus, if you put lots of chemicals on your skin, it can be an endocrine disruptor, and that is not good for you, as it can lead to all kinds of nasty stuff. But it's tough finding a natural product that you're happy with, and it's very, very tough to find something that won't do you any harm or nature any harm. So I had a little look at this. Wild mint. I can definitely do with some of that. It says, we are creating a future where the well-being of people and the planet are elevated hand in hand. Well, that sounds good to me. It smells amazing. The 5-step kit has cleanser, toner, serum, facial oil, and moisturizer. I tell you what, it's a real treat for anyone who might be going through menopause. Fantastic idea for a gift. And you even get this little wild mint. I'm assuming it's for, I don't know, what's that for? Oh, mixing. I'm so out of touch with these things. So hormonal changes affect everything, from anxiety and depression to joint pain and gut health. It's all controlled by your hormones. When your ovaries shut down, it doesn't mean that you're not producing any more hormones. You are, but you're producing it from a different part of your body. So this is something so many people do not know, that when your ovaries shut down, your adrenals kick in and take over the production of sex hormones for your body. So if you've spent most of your life exhausting your adrenals are also the controller of the fight or flight system. So this is when you are stressed, you've had adrenaline going around your system, and you're feeling really hyper. If you've lived a life like that, you might have exhausted adrenals, and it means they won't be able to take up the slack when your ovaries shut down and you need to have hormones produced in a different way. So if you have healthy adrenals that haven't been exhausted because of your stress in your life, you've been maybe eating well, living well, staying as relaxed as possible, and doing things like meditation and yoga and things that help remove the stress from your system, then you might be okay. But if, like most of us, you've had quite a stressful life, quite a stressful experience, and you're approaching your menopause at whatever age that is, and you're already feeling exhausted and knackered and stressed, then this might be something you need to pay attention to. How are you going to support your adrenals to take over the production of your sex hormones from your ovaries as they start shutting down? So your adrenals are in charge of many things: your metabolism, your blood pressure, your stress system, and your immune response. They are also in charge of your cardiovascular system and your gastrointestinal system. These things have got so much they're in charge of, it's crazy. And then as soon as your ovaries shut down, they're taking on another job, which is to support you with your hormone production. Who knew, right? So if you're struggling with menopause, it might just be because your adrenals are tired and are unable to take on the job from the ovaries as they are shutting down. So when I found this out, it made me realize this might be why I was having a lot of the side effects. The adrenals are in charge of the metabolism, then maybe this is why my metabolism was slowing down. And then of course, adrenals do blood pressure. So if your blood pressure is increasing because you're starting to go into perimenopause or menopause, this might also be why, because your adrenals are fatigued and exhausted. Thankfully, there's a lot of things you can do to improve your adrenal function and to support them while they're taking on so many more jobs. So of course, look at your diet. What are you eating? Get rid of those processed foods. Eat loads of amazing, good whole foods. Eat meats and vegetables and fruit, particularly berries, which are lower in sugar. And look at the whole grains that you're eating and anything else that you can do to make your diet so much better. So if you have a stressful job and sometimes you can't even grab a decent meal at work, then think about taking yourself a really nice high protein salad, low in carbohydrates, high in protein and high in good fats such as avocado. The reason that you need the fats is because that's what's used as the basis for hormone production. So if you want your body to be producing the hormones, then you need to be eating lots of lovely, healthy fats. So think about some fatty fish, maybe salmon, some nuts and seeds. For me particularly, as soon as I increased significantly the amount of good fat that I was eating through eggs, avocado, fatty fish, fatty cuts of meat, yes, I said fatty cuts of meat. This means having something like a ribeye steak instead of having a fillet steak. It means that you're getting some really good fats that your body can use to turn into hormones that will support your system. One of the biggest things as well for me is cutting down on sugar and carbs. As soon as I started reducing the amount of sugar and carbs I was eating, it reduced my anxiety levels. It made me feel less flighty, less kind of caught up in the stress, and I definitely feel more grounded and better. The other thing that helps is exercise, and I make sure that I choose certain types of exercise. So it's either weight bearing or walking and low cardiovascular. So it gets your heart rate up, but not too much. Because if your heart rate is too high, then you become a sugar burner. Actually, what you want to become is a fat burner. And you can do that through things like walking. So to do up to 15,000 steps a day is a challenge. Yes, it absolutely is. But it can really help you to bring your stress levels down, to help improve your mood, to reduce your weight and everything else in between. It's just so amazing. And it really is good for your mind. If you walk in beautiful places, what's not to love? So other ways that you can reduce stress and give your adrenals a little bit of a break is to meditate in whatever way works for you. For me, it's definitely walking. It really helps me meditate. It helps me be outside. I feel great. And I also love to play around with crystals. I like looking at them and I like meditating with them. Meditating with crystals is a really lovely thing to do. Reduce your alcohol consumption too. I'm really sorry. This is a horrible one. Everyone loves a glass of wine at the end of the day. Everyone likes to go out with their girlfriends or boyfriends and have a drink, but don't do it too often because that can really have a massive impact on your body. When you hit perimenopause and menopause, unfortunately, the body can't break down the alcohol like it used to. So it weighs really heavy on your system and on your liver and your kidneys. So you just can't drink the same as you used to when you were younger. Now I just have something every now and again. It's really not something I'm thinking about. Cravings for alcohol are absolutely gone. And I really love waking up in the morning without a headache and feeling really fresh and ready for the day. And I can't forget this one thing. It's the thing that knits everything together, because when you sleep, your body repairs itself. And when you're going through perimenopause and menopause, your body really needs as much help as it can get. So rest and repair happens at night in your sleep as long as you're not digesting. So give yourself a really good chance to have a great night's sleep. Some of the things you can do: make sure there's no natural or unnatural light in your room. If you think there's going to be some noise, like a snoring partner or some kids making a noise in the street or whatever it might be, get yourself a pair of earplugs. It will really help. Try to go to bed a little bit earlier than you want to, and make sure it's the same time every night, because the body loves routine of going to bed and getting up at the same time. Make sure in the day you don't have too much caffeine, because that means you'll get better sleep. And meditate if you can before you settle, because that really helps to bring the brain noise down. So in a nutshell, if I knew that I had to be taking care of my adrenals as much as I did so that it would be able to step in when I went into menopause and my ovaries started shutting down, I would have lived life slightly differently. I just wish I'd known this one thing before I hit perimenopause. It would have been a game changer for me. So what do you plan to do to calm your adrenals and help your system sort itself out with all the changes going on in your life? Remember, this is a period of transition. This is a period of change. Change is not to be feared. Change is good. Change brings amazing things. Change brings a midlife crisis maybe, but actually a midlife crisis can be fun. So tell me what you're up to and tell me what you're planning to do to help support your adrenals and maybe have a fun midlife crisis of your own. But most of all, do not suffer in silence. It's not the suckiness of life that matters. It's how you deal with it that's important. Cheers.